Good evening and welcome to Blackonomics, Blackology, the Black Educational Talk Show. Sit back and enjoy an educational experience. And remember to love the life you live and live the life you love.
I created this poem tonight. I just came out of my cave, and This is for you and every African American in the world. Do you know who I am? Do you know who I be? Do you know what you are looking at when you see me? Can you tell me? Then I'll tell you. I am he who you see daily, walking or maybe even struggling to complete my journey. I am the person who you speak to all the time, but not knowing who I am to give you direction. I am the reason that society will no longer be afraid of the dark with just one flick. I am the sugar or the honey that's in your iced tea that makes your taste buds want much more of me. You still don't know who I be? Some see me as a leader, a motivational speaker that will do anything to help out another. Some see me as a fighter and a warrior that will not back down to any battle that has substance for the future. Some see me as a failure who does nothing and is a follower who brings down the community with my foolish activity, trying to mimic the TV and everything else that makes no sense, not even to me. But many see me as a person who has overcome so much in many that I am he, and he is me who was somebody who is Degruy, the one who without me there would be no history. You still don't know who I be? Really? Well, maybe this will help you see more clearly. I am beautiful, and my skin color comes in all shades of brown. I am Aspen, and a legend, and like the beginning, I will always be around. I am astonishing because of my doings. I sometimes amaze myself with my creations. I am Aaron, as well as courageous and capturing. I am an American, but my land of the free and home of the brave stipulations say that I have to put African first for my full name completion. I am knowledge, the reason, that backbone that make people want to stay and not go home chromosome. I am a black human being and very proud of what I am and what I have become.
Wow.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. You know, I just wish more of our young people had that sense of themselves. I am currently working on volume 2 of my book, and part of what I'm looking at is kind of moving forward, what it looks like in the global village and really where we are. But the big piece of it is that very question you asked: do you know who I am? And fundamentally, why whether or not you know who I am, do I know who I am? That becomes the most critical piece. And I think that so many of our, not just young people, so many of our people have, I often say, have brought the illusion of inclusion, and as a result of that, have lost the sense of who they are, and if they ever had it at all. And they've been led to believe, well, there's no need. You don't have to watch. Matter of fact, I'm always faced, it amazes me how this happens and how black people buy it often. You don't need to put any name in front of you. We're just all humans. We're all just Americans. But that's not what everybody else does.
Absolutely.
It's just amazing. And so they said, maybe if we can convince you to forget yourself if we can convince you to forget yourself, then we won't feel so bad about cutting you a solid and scientific zero, which is, kind of what's going on a lot of levels.
Yeah.
But shame on us if we really do believe that it's okay for us, like you have black people that get hypersensitive about talking about our history, about talking about slavery, or talking about, what has happened through the years where, black folks have struggled, just looking at our own Renaissance. There is, we have been kind of made to believe, to almost feel fear around talking about ourselves, or shame about talking about ourselves, or guilt. And, mainly, I think that this has reflected itself in, like, a lack of any sense of it. It used to be, I grew up, I'm 53 years old, I grew up with, black is beautiful, and that was huge, because even to use the word black as a positive affirmation was unique in my day, when black was, in fact, used to curse someone. You always use black first, is the first thing you said before you called them all the rest of the names. You called them black first. So for us to have moved from, in my day, to move from black is beautiful, having been, wounded by being called black, was huge. And now, what I'm looking at as I travel around the country, and indeed outside the country, but, I'm looking at young people who have just no sense. Now that's not all of them. Don't get me wrong. I would never, ever place everyone there, because there's a huge number that are, thank God, have picked up the baton that folks like me dropped and are carrying it forward.
Absolutely.
But there's so many that are walking around with not even a negative or a positive, a big zero around themselves. They don't see the relevance. And so therefore everybody goes, they just seem so disrespectful. They don't care about anybody. They don't care about anything. Well, if you don't know who you are, if you have no sense of yourself, why would you value anything or anyone else? It is central to a healthy human being to have a sense of yourself. And, I say this in many of my talks. Those who've read my book, Randall Robinson said to me that the worst thing that you can do to a people is to rob them of the memory of themselves. And that's what we're seeing. It's like, it's not even a memory. Some of these kids, they'll say, oh, yeah, I remember, Martin Luther King, yeah, and Malcolm X. Don't quite know who he is or what he did, but, I know that, I get out of school or something special happens. But there's no sense of that. Now, when you start looking at rites of passage, not just in African communities, but in communities all around the world, honoring your ancestors, your elders, your history, your legacies is critical in every culture that I know. And when you lose that, you understand what I'm saying? I'm just saying across the board. You got folks, you may not speak the language, but they have a ceremony, they have names, they have art, they have literature, they have songs, they have poetry testifying to who they are as a people. And what we've done in this extraordinarily materialistic and self-centered reality that we've created here is we have now young people that, the essence of reality is I'm going to get mine. It's all about me and gratifying me. But we can't be mad because we didn't pass the baton. We did not, and when I say we, I'm talking about my generation and even those who followed, who just said, well, I've gotten middle class now. I've gotten into certain arenas that have been blocked. Never mind who opened those doors, but I'm there now, and it's all about me. It's like Maynard Jackson, who was mayor of Atlanta, years ago. I remember hearing him speak, and Maynard said, there are a couple of things we need to deal with as black folks. He says, one, we got to get rid of the scared Negro. And he said the scared Negro is the one that gets a position and is so afraid of losing that position that they work as almost like, they're gatekeepers. And they will actually injure other black people trying to come through more than anyone white would. That's the scared Negro. that, basically says, you don't have to worry about this one, Mr. Jimmy. I'll take care of these Negroes. It's like a black overseer.
AKA house nigger.
It's a black overseer, And then you have what he called, I'm sorry?
Yeah. So I'm saying, haven't I been saying that? I'm just agreeing like crazy.
Yeah, and then there's the other person that Maynard Jackson said we have to deal with, and that's the incompetent Negro. That's the one that we keep kind of pushing up and holding up despite the fact that they're a hot mess. That we then lose all credibility because we are supporting someone who is not competent. There's just nothing healthy about that. So when you look at our young people who are looking at us and trying to figure it out, they say, well, I'm going to just really check all the way out and just make certain I get my own personal and individual needs met, and by any means necessary. And that's how they call it. But there's a fair number of folks out there, and these are the ones that I'm reaching out, I'm mentoring, I'm trying to open up my doors to, are the ones that are saying, I know that there's something more, that have taken and I'm talking about all levels, from very young, 8, 9, 10 on up, and if they're willing to listen, I'm willing to share. But that's what we have to do. We have to not only share with them, and I'm telling you, we're on a catch-up scheme here that I got to tell you. Not only do we have to hurry up and help them understand who they are and where they came from and the shoulders they stand on, but we've got to prepare them for a global reality. We got people right now, stop thinking about, when I get this job, or maybe, I'll go and get that degree, and then maybe I'll be an entrepreneur and open up a small business, and then maybe, even maybe I may have a national kind of network. But do you understand that we're not talking national anymore? Those borders are dissolving, very rapidly, and we're looking at functioning as a world. And we've got young people who can't see beyond the borders of their neighborhood.
Sorry.
Yes, you have a question?
Oh, this is Brother Ari Moretazon, the Northeast Region Representative in Cobra. And,
hey, how you doing?
I'm fine, Sister dear. How you doing? I just want to try and roll this thing forward, but keep it in the context by linking it to the reality that and our context and reality. You said it so well. This system wants us to suspend our context in America. They want us to suspend our reality that we face every day to get along. And we cannot allow that to happen, because that tells us that we have to remove ourselves away from our historical memory. And if we do that, we die as a people. And that's one of the reasons I really heard your call when I was in New York City, I think at Bethel Church there last summer, and you asked the question, said, where are the youth? And I think maybe 3 or 4 stood up. But I guarantee you.
To listen to the Blackonomics Blackology show in its entirety, tune in every Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or download the show at blogtalkradio.com/Blackonomics, iTunes, or at 8x10design/media.
There's been times in my life I've been wondering why, and yet somehow I believe we'll always survive. Now I'm not so sure that you're waiting to hear one good reason to try.